What is going on, everybody? Welcome back for another video. We are going to be diving into a technique that I have been using across like the smallmouth belt in the north. I'm not talking down south, you know, the Tennessee River smallmouth, the reservoir style smallmouth, the Highland Reservoir smallmouth. I am talking about natural lake smallmouth bass. Great Lakes, northern Wisconsin, Minnesota, New York, those kinds of places. And this has gained a lot of popularity across these areas. It's nothing really new, but it is something kind of new that I've been diving into as of lately. And I've been smashing them doing it. And that is a football jig. Now, we are not talking the Iaconelli balling out jig like the full size. I am talking the little baby ones, the micro football jigs. And they have taken a place in my arsenal. I mean, I've pretty much replaced Ned rigs, and I haven't been throwing a tube all that much because this bait has been so effective for me. So I have two different setups that I throw these football jigs on, because basically in my mind there's two different styles of open water football jigs. And the first one is kind of how everybody else knows this little football jig right here. There's a couple different companies that make them that I use. You know, Beast Coast was like the original, and they make a great open water football jig. It's very small, it's compact. I catch a lot of fish doing that too. But this one that I have rigged up right here is made by Cast Again. Now it's just, you know, it's got a screw lock keeper, and it's got an owner hook in there, which I really like. I mean, Owner makes a phenomenal hook. I love their hooks. So anytime I see that into a jig from the package, it gets a big nod from me. But the setup that I throw these styles of football jigs this is an ALX Zolo Toadface XL. This is a 7'6" medium heavy, and I like a little bit of a longer rod when I'm throwing this style of football jig, because I am bombing this bait as far away from the boat as I can, because most of the time you're fishing clear water. You want to get that bait away from the boat. As Zona always says, you want to reach out and touch them, like get it as far away as you can. So that is why I like using a longer bait casting rod, 8-to-1 or 7-to-1. I normally go with like a 7.3 for this, because it still makes me move the bait kind of slow, but also have the ability of picking up line quickly. And this is 15-pound gamma fluorocarbon on here, which is kind of crazy, because a lot of the places that I'm throwing this bait, the water is pretty clear, but I've still been able to get away with a heavier line. I wish I had a reason for that. I really don't know, because I have fished the Great Lakes with this, you know, some places where they get a lot of pressure, but you're still able to land them on bait casting equipment, which just makes fighting them, landing them, I mean, it's just fun. It's smallmouth fishing. Who doesn't love smallmouth fishing, especially when you can catch them on a big rod? It's amazing. A couple different trailers that I use with this. You know, I'll use a cross style, but a lot more often than not, I am using just a straight up missile D-bomb. And the only thing that I do a little bit different with it is I will tip the tail, you know, with a certain color, say it's an orange or a chartreuse, to help them key on it. Sometimes I don't. Missile does make a bunch of different colors to match any style of jig that you throw. So like sometimes just the color is just enough, but when you're looking for that little bit of a difference maker, just putting a little bit of color into the tail, just a little bit more action, it shows, I shouldn't say it's a little more action, but it shows a little more action in your trailer than by accenting the tip by a little bit. So that is the setup for, you know, I'd say these bigger football jigs. You know, and as far as like weight goes, keep the weight relative to the depth that you're fishing. I mean, I don't go really much heavier than a half when it comes to these, and if I'm fishing really deep. And this one that I got rigged up right now is a 1/4, because I wasn't throwing it very deep around some really jagged rock, and I don't want to be fighting this bait when I'm bringing it through the rock. I want it to more glide and just kind of subtly fall over the rock and crawl it over. I don't want to be hung up in it all the time. That is the setup for the bigger football jigs. Now this one, I can honestly say, has really taken the place of, I haven't thrown a tube nearly as much with this, because I've started throwing this setup, but and it definitely replaced my Ned rig setup. And this is the micro football jig. This is That's what it is. This is the micro football jig by Missile. And you can tell that that thing is itty bitty. That is tiny. I've basically been sticking with one size with this one. That's a 3/8. You know, like, and I've used this in a bunch of different scenarios, casting at targets, casting at floating fish that you're seeing on forward-facing sonar. A bunch of different ways to fish this thing. I've snapped this off the bottom and caught them on it. It's just been a deadly, deadly weapon, but the setup has definitely made a big difference for me, and it is on a ALX Zolo Mixed Smalls. This is a 7'6" medium light plus. It's a 1.5 light plus, not a medium light plus, 1.5 light plus. Fast action rod, 8-pound Daiwa J-braid as the main line, and then the leader I change based on what I'm fishing around. This is 10-pound fluorocarbon, and I have gone all the way down to 6, just depending on how they're getting the bait. But my favorite trailer on this thing, and you can see it right here, this one's pretty well chewed up, but that is a micro D-bomb on the back of there, and it's the same thing as the other ones. You can accent the tails a little bit by putting some color into it. Oh, and the reel. It is a Daiwa Tatula NQLT size 4,000, and I just like using a bigger reel. I mean, it really is my comfort zone. I like throwing bigger stuff. I do have some 3,000s. I use those a lot for more like your Nico rigging or drop shotting, anything kind of like that. But I love using a size 4,000 reel. Something a little bit bigger, picks up a little more line, holds a little more line, helps you cast a little bit further, because it's the same thing. You want to reach out and touch them. You want to get this bait as far away from the boat as you can. And the reason that I've been going with the 3/8 and I haven't really played around with different weight sizes with this is because I feel like a lot of it is a reaction, especially when you're seeing them on forward-facing sonar. You hit them, this thing rockets straight to the bottom, which is different than a tube, because if you've seen an internally weighted tube, it depends on where the line tie is, but they spiral as they go down, which sometimes can trigger a lot of bites. But this thing just rockets straight to the bottom. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some little tidbits and tricks that I do with it that make it a little bit different. Maybe I'll tell you guys those little bits later on down the road, but I'm keeping them to myself for now. But either way, this bait, it's very customizable. It comes in a pack of 2. It comes with weed guards and a very good silicone skirt on there and a stout hook, so you don't really have to worry about that. But this little dude has caught a ton of fish for me in the past couple of years, and I've just had a lot of fun throwing it around on some light tackle. The lightest that I've gone as far as line goes with this is I've used a 6-pound fluorocarbon leader, and you just got to check your line a bunch. Obviously, check your line anytime you're using 6-pound line, but I mean, you just catch a pile of fish with it. It's so much fun to do, and then it's not hard. You can cast it out, you can drag it, hop it. I mean, one thing I haven't done is swim it, because most of the time I'm trying to imitate something that lives on the bottom. So, but that is the micro football setup. That is 2 awesome techniques that I have been using over the past couple of years to put a boatload of smallmouth in the boat, and I've caught a really good amount of largemouth doing it too. So head on over to Missile Baits, check out the micro football jig, the micro D-bomb, and all of the different plastics that they have that you can use as a trailer. They catch a ton of fish. It's a really good look that probably not a lot of fish have seen, and very, very customizable. Fish it how you want. But that's it for this video. I'm gonna go catch some bass. That'll be good.